Hi, I'm Angeline Wu, and I'm a junior at Townsend Harris.
I'm Wren Walston, and I'm also a junior at Townsend Harris.
Unfortunately, Nameera could not join us today. We saw her getting carried off by a huge Viking ship with screaming goats, and we just let that happen. So we have oops. Uh-oh. But we have a little stuffed little guy.
Welcome to the first in-person Operation Tomatometer Season 2, a high school podcast that is centered around movie reviews.
If you haven't been putting on a blonde wig and wielding Mjolnir, you would note that one of the most recent additions to the MCU's Phase 4 film is Thor Love and Thunder.
But first, a quick summary of the movie Thor Love and Thunder. We open on Gore the God Butcher, who his main goal is to target all the gods and eliminate them. Thor, who's now taking it easy as part of the Guardians of the Galaxy, catches wind of this and gathers up all of his allies, including familiar faces like Korg, Valkyrie, and his ex, Dr. Jane Foster. Jane, he discovers, is now able to wield his hammer, Mjolnir.
Meow. Meow, meow.
Together, Thor and all his companions must defeat Gore, save all the gods, and uncover his secrets.
Thor Love and Thunder was directed by Taika Waititi, who also worked on the last Thor movie, Thor Ragnarok. Ragnarok was well received by critics and audiences alike for its refreshing lightheartedness and humor. But does Thor Love and Thunder live up to its predecessor?
We'll see. Thank you. Now with that, let's head into the reviews.
Okay, personally, I just want to preface everything I say, but I am not in no way am I a Marvel fan.
And I am a Marvel fan. So we have very different
quarrels.
I guess I'm a little biased.
But I think you have more, like, what's the word? You have more substance to go off of because you can compare it to the last one we were discussing. So I think, personally, I thought it was, like, you can't, it's a Marvel movie, and in that sense, that's what it's a Marvel movie, in which I mean that, like, there's a lot of money put into it. And usually, if you put enough money into a film, it's watchable. You know what I mean? Like, there is definitely a plot. There's definitely a plot.
Yeah, that's very true. I agree with everything you said. It does have a really high budget, but this movie is especially interesting because they tried to incorporate the comical aspect of Thor, which was done in Thor Ragnarok and was successful in Thor Ragnarok. Mm-hmm. The first two Thor movies were very serious and were not taken as well by critics.
I wonder how, like, his character has, slowly been built up, because if he was, like, serious, as you said, in the first two, because in, what's the one with Star-Lord?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy, his character is only, like, comedic. It's like this, Thor's
He's
this
not
wacky.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes, he.
No, he's not.
He's in Infinity War, not?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I watched Infinity War too, so it's okay. And in Infinity War, he's kind of this, like, comedic guy, I never really got a grasp of his, like, actual substantiated personality. I only really saw this, like, funny.
But that's what this movie's trying to do. It's trying to show his pain, and, like, from Endgame, he lost his brother Loki. It shows, like, his tattoos on his back. He's taking it really hard. He got the beer belly. He's working it off on the beginning.
Honestly,
in the beginning of the movie.
I didn't really like that. Like, I didn't really like the narrator in the beginning. Sorry,
Korg?
No. After Korg.
Oh.
There was this, like, and basically Thor worked all of it off. And
that's Korg.
That is Korg. Oh, Korg narrates the entire movie, yes. But, I kind of didn't, I don't know, it was very, like, tell, not show. It was just, like, telling me what happened rather than showing it, which kind of makes me feel less, I mean, it's good, because it gives you a recap quickly, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, it doesn't make me feel as attached to the character. He's funny, but I don't know. It's a very comedic movie, as you said. It's shifted into a very, like, lighthearted tone. Like, they saw that it worked well for Ragnarok, so I think they wanted to continue that, like, comedic tone, right?
But the thing is, Natalie Portman, I love Natalie Portman, but she's not a comedic actor. All of her lines
pretty serious.
Are kind of cringy and don't work as a comedy movie.
I get that. I couldn't, like, I feel like although it was a comedic movie, we were still supposed to take it seriously, right? At some points, like, with the children, like, oh, we were supposed to care. But when Thor gets, like, teleported in there, he's like, man, guys, I don't know, it was just some funny, like, one-liner, don't die before we come and save you, or something like that. What was it? It was like...
I don't remember. The pacing was a little off.
A little rough.
There was barely any time for the ending battle when he finally does save the kids. It was more focused on, like, him finding Jane again and their love life and just, like, reminiscing.
Yeah, and also I'm just particularly distasteful towards, like, sequels. I'm pretty much a sequel hater. I don't think I've ever really liked sequels of movies because I always think of it, this is just me because I'm pessimistic, but I've always kind of thought of it as, like, corporations, like, oh, look at those, like, stinky little consumers, they, you know, they like this, we're gonna feed them 2 more, you know, and it's like, you can't shove food down my throat.
Yeah, and this is Thor's 4th movie, like, we thought after Ragnarok was so good that I came into Thor Love and Thunder thinking, oh, this is gonna be better than Ragnarok. But it kind of let me down.
Expectations high, harder to achieve. 100%. Alright. I kind of want to get into the villain, though.
Gore.
Honestly, I thought it was going to be a good movie. Not that no, I'm right. I'm not going to take it back. Actually, I did not like the movie that much.
Okay.
But, I thought that, like, the first scene was so interesting. I really liked that, like, you know, preface, like, that backstory. That was good. I thought that was really nice. Like, the acting, Christian Bale is just so good at, like, being creepy villain who tries to, like, hypnotize you with his smooth, honeyed voice into believing his, like, kind of madness. Because honestly, during that first scene, totally ruined for him. I was like, damn.
But, like, you can obviously see his motives. Like, I understand him. I feel like the MCU really does a good job on humanizing their villains. Like, if you lost someone you loved, you would want revenge, too.
You want to talk about cinematography?
Yeah, let's talk about cinematography of this movie, because I did think it was impressive for a Marvel movie.
I had nothing to compare it to, because I thought Infinity War and Endgame were great. But I really like the black and white scenes. I think you want.
Yeah, the black and white scenes. The battle, I don't remember what planet they were on. It was like a moon. And everything was black and white until they wielded one of their weapons, like the lightning bolt, Zeus's lightning bolt. And then, like, there was a glow around it. And I thought that was so cool. Like, that must have taken so much editing.
Yeah, and also, I just really like the black, like, that concept, the concept of, like, going somewhere and everything turning black, like, that was pretty cool. I'll give it to them.
They did that well.
I'll give it to them. But something that they did poorly was Zeus. Cinematography, again, great. Love, like, that council of the gods, you know? Like,
just
with, like, everyone, like, sitting around. That was such a cool atmosphere to, like, even imagine. Cool. But Zeus, like, the actual Greek gods, like, they're not a like reoccurring villain. We see at the end.
Villain? He's like antagonist, but not the villain.
Right. But he's like, that's a little far. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it makes sense. God killer, God, Greek gods.
The fact that he did not care, like, I don't know. It didn't seem very real. Obviously, none of it's realistic. But this really didn't seem like that would actually happen. Well, like, that he would just ignore.
He was kind of like, Zeus was kind of like an inflated antagonist, where, I mean, like, where, like, you know, what's the villain's name? Gore. Sorry, there's like Krog and Gore, and I can't mix them up. But, Gore, right? I think Gore, we see motive, but Zeus is just like, I can't curse.
Just an obstacle.
Zeus is just, like, annoying for no reason. Like, he's just, like, he just wants to be annoying. You know, he's just, like, har, I'm gonna ruin everyone's day because I'm Zeus. Which, you know, kind of sucks, because I really like it when they have, like, actual motives. Last season, the OT hosts had a segment where they would guess the official score sent out by tomato heads back at Rotten Tomatoes. But this season, we'll be putting a spin on the segment and instead coming up with an Operation Tomatometer critic score as a collective. So we're gonna have to agree.
The two of us, plus Nameera.
Plus Nameera, but I'm pretty sure she'll agree with me because I have the right opinion, always.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna give this movie, a 75. It's passing. It's watchable. It's fun, you know?
I agree with you on the 70s, but I had to look it up. The Tomatometer score for the first Thor movie from 2011 got a 77, and I think this one is better than that one. So I'm gonna have to give it a 78.
Can we just add it up and divide it by 2? I'm gonna argue with you. I think that my opinion matters too. No. I don't know. I didn't watch the first Thor movie, so your opinion is more valid than mine. But you're coming in with a clean slate. I'm very coming in with this clean slate, clean palette, you know? I'm also not the biggest fan of superhero movies in general. I don't know what a good superhero... I guess we could bring it back to Tom Holland. A very good friend. But I like Spider-Man Homecoming. I remember watching that when I was, a bit younger, and I was like, damn, this is pretty cool. And I don't know, I just didn't get that same, magic in here. It was... I know they were trying to go, recreate, the magic.
Well, it's easy to, connect to Spider-Man Homecoming, because he's a kid from Queens, but Thor is a god that
right. I mean, I'm
lives
not,
in space.
You're right, but... I guess I'll settle for a 77.3.
0.3. Okay. Sure.
Good deal.
Sure.
Good deal.
If you've been a long-time viewer of Tomatometer, you would know all about our very persistent journey to bring Tom Holland to Townsend Harris and our very close relationship with the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
And... Okay, this is just because you're the Marvel film buff. Do you think this film connects or relates to any other Marvel film?
I mean, everything in the MCU connects, but I feel like this one doesn't connect to Phase 4 as much. Thor isn't a main character in Phase 4, I believe, so he's probably going to show up in the next Avengers movie, but I don't think he's going to last much longer in the MCU.
I see. I want to add my own opinion just really quick. I felt a disconnect from Marvel after Endgame, where all the Marvel movies, especially in Phase 4, it feels like Endgame never happened. Well, which makes sense, because, Black Widow, and there's a movie about her now, which I get, but I don't know, everything else, I'm praising Spider-Man a lot, but, Spider-Man is the only one that seems like it continued, after, you know what I mean? Thor seemed so, I don't know, it's just, a different guy, man. Not the same Thor we saw in Endgame.
Yeah, I agree. It hasn't been very consistent.
How would you rate the movie based
on... I gave my score based on the original Thor, so I feel like I've already done this, but if I...
1 to 6.
Had to rate it from 1 to 6 based on... when compared to other Marvel films, I would probably give it a 2.
2?
There's been better ones.
Okay. Which ones? Which one did you really like? Black Widow?
I liked Infinity War.
That's Phase 4?
No. Oh,
Phase 4. Phase 4.
I liked Shang-Chi a lot and Spider-Man No Way Home.
Oh, right. I heard about those. Those two had really good reviews.
Yes.
And they look magical.
Are you excited to see where Marvel takes the mighty Thor, aka Jane Foster, Natalie Portman?
Natalie Portman as a Marvel character. Huh. I thought her character was interesting because, all of this, these two contrasting states, which is very apparent by, her two contrasting appearances, almost they highlighted it with the neon yellow highlighter, just in case you didn't know. I think she was very interesting, and honestly, I wouldn't mind, I guess, having a new, a movie about her.
Well, she did die.
She did die, but, in the years where her and Thor weren't together, they might, do a little, timeline thing.
Sure. I also think she's a great way to lead in with more female characters in the MCU, which, in Phase 4, we are getting a lot more. But Mighty Thor is just so powerful. People think Thor is the most powerful Avenger, And Mighty Thor, like, females are gonna come and dominate the MCU eventually.
I hope so. What are your thoughts about, speaking of that though, what are your thoughts about She-Hulk?
I have been watching She-Hulk. The CGI is rough. Yeah, that could be a feature.
I think it's cringy. I watched some clips. I haven't watched the whole thing, so I can't say for sure, but I have watched some clips, and you know the one I'm referencing, the one with Megan Thee Stallion and She-Hulk. Yes. I thought it was cringy, and I thought it was bad, but it's unfortunate because misogynists are really using it as a way to, like, you know, just, like, climb down on, like, you know, female directors and, like, oh, you know, like, which really sucks. I really wish it was good. I really, really honestly wish it was good so that they can't just say, like, you know, because they'll take advantage of anything, and I don't know, that just kind of sucks.
We need more female directors in superhero movies in general.
100%.
I think that about wraps up today's episode.
Stay tuned for more Tomato-tastic content from Operation Tomatometer on Apple Podcasts, and check out the Classic and Classic Critic on Instagram and TikTok page at THHS Classic to see our bloopers, behind the scenes, and other cool projects we're working on.
That's about it. Thanks for watching. See you next week.
Bye.